Welcome back to Combust Astrology. My name's Liv. Let's go ahead and get into Jupiter going direct in Gemini. We're going to kind of break this down into three parts: the transit itself, where we came from, where we're going to go. So, Jupiter going direct is obviously good or bad, depending on where you have it in your chart. But also, if you look, I'm going to put the chart up here. Jupiter is a lack of faith in Gemini. Jupiter is typically a bunch of faith and optimism in Pisces or Sag. So in Gemini, being not necessarily a detriment like it would be in Virgo, it's we just got to know more. We need to know more. We need to see more, and it might be a little bit too much. So currently, as it goes direct, everything that's been happening around us, it is the currently I'm recording this. I think it's the 1st or 2nd of February, 2025. It's going to be, well, a lot more chaotic. Jupiter in Gemini is unable to just be calm and relax. It just always needs to find some sort of stimulus to do. And I think that's one of the detriments of this placement. Mercury is currently in Aquarius. Jupiter in Gemini has been trying that, but going direct, it's almost like a aha moment. We're going to see this also in turn start the steps towards the Jupiter square Saturn transit later on this month, I believe. Jupiter squaring Saturn is probably going to bring back some budgeting like financial concerns for all of us, of course. But with Jupiter having been in retrograde and in Gemini, it was really kind of assessing okay, so like when Jupiter first entered the sign, you got a whole bunch, right? When we had that Gemini stellium last year in 2024 and everything was new, everything this, and that, what did you do? You know, how much of that was truly useful? That's what this retrograde was about. How much of that was truly useful? And did you take time to reassess whether or not the things that you invested in have been returning you what you want? You know, that's the whole point of the retrograde. The initial impact into a sign, you'd never truly know, but the retrograde is going to let you take it back and assess the ebb and flow of life. So now, as we go direct again and we keep moving until the next sign, which would be Cancer, before that last, I think we have another little bit of a retrograde, but before that, how do we take all of that energy again and now perfectly direct it? When I look at this, when I look at retrogrades and how they move, sometimes I like to assume like it's like a transition from one sign to the next. At the 28th degree till you get to the first degree, 28th being the initial entering into that sign, 29th being like, wow, this is, we're almost there, and then pushing back, pulling back, and then pushing forward into the next sign. And when I think about this, it's almost as if we're entering the initial stages of Sagittarius. Let's commit to something and try it and enjoy it and not just have a million things that we start. When we come back to the transits, when this happens, Mars is still retrograded in Cancer. So the element of how you feel emotionally, the Mars retrograde, if you know anyone with Cancer placements, they'll tell you straight up, or any other cardinals, oof, how I feel. For the Capricorn stellium people, they've been unpacking all the trauma that Pluto and Capricorn has accumulated for them. For the Cancer people, they're trying to really figure it out. And it's a lot. I've tried to give them as much space and time as they need. Aries and Libra, Libra's just trying to figure out how they can be free again. And for Aries, it's one fight after another and how I can finally just let go. Venus just recently entered Aries. Venus in Aries is a very much doer. To me, it's like just having a Scorpio placement. And I'll elaborate with that by saying Venus in a working sign, Aries or Mars, doesn't just get to manifest things by letting it come to it and taking in the feminine energy. It has to embrace the masculine and go out of its way to attract. And when you think about that, you're playing with the energies of masculine and feminine, just from a purely energetic standpoint. And you will find that you will end up having to chase the feminine when you have a Venus in Aries to receive that, because that's really what you're looking after. So, with that energy in the works, with Jupiter and Gemini, it kind of feels like if I can't figure it out, I'll do it myself. Mercury in Aquarius is like, if I can't get the people, then I'll go somewhere else to get the people. It could show itself in relationships, it can show itself in friendships, communities, but it's a very scatter like energy that just really wants to get to the bottom of things. So, with Jupiter here, when we look at the future of what we want to see from Jupiter after the Jupiter Saturn square, all the little tools and the new data that you've gathered from the past year with Jupiter and Gemini, think of the massive square. What's the next square of Gemini? It's cardinal. So, I said cardinal. Mutable. It's a mutable. The next mutable from here would be Virgo. So now, if you think of, I always look at everything in cycles. If you think of the current cycle, it's a cross. It's a 4-point star, whatever. We're currently, if you want to say the new moon of this cycle is Gemini, because it's the start of the mutables. Then the first waxing phase, the first quarter moon, is gonna be Virgo. So all this data, all the seeds that you're trying to plant, how will you be able to carry that through for the next 4 years? It's a bigger cycle, right? This is where you try to do alchemy with astrology. You think of that bigger timeline horizon. So with the Virgo cycle and then the Sagittarius, once you get the data more refined, then you actually go through and express it when Jupiter enters Sagittarius so you can actually enjoy it and live it. And then lastly, in the last quarter of the cycle, the decay, but also the experience that has now crystallized and you can come one with it at the feminine stage of this cycle, Jupiter in Pisces. That's a long ways away, but right now it's the seeds. You're building upon a multiple time frame idea with this transit that you're planting these seeds, and it will last you 4 times 4, 16 years. Learning how to do this with astrology will really help you. And I love it for Jupiter. A lot of us know it because of Saturn, but every single planet can do it. Some shorter than others, but Jupiter's a really cool one to do it with. And with it being in Gemini here, as we enter the Pluto and Aquarius, it's a very quick feedback that you can get. So this Jupiter and Gemini going direct is a lot more than just, oh, we're back into the fray of things for me. Jupiter being back into Gemini is a myriad of adventure and fun. Anyway, thank you for watching. This is Liv from Combust Astrology here at Cast Ashanti, where I do readings. Good luck and take care.